har været i værre karetter end denne her. De siger, han er personlighed. Det betyder ikke altid, man er grim.
Mary, Queen of Scots, my mother. I have every right to hate you. But you abandoned me as a babe in arms.
Your Majesty.
Come, woman. We go to England. I must visit my mother.
Your Majesty.
Lord Cecil.
Why does she do this?
She wishes to die gracefully, Your Majesty. Even a whore may seem a queen.
She's so beautiful. Why was I not told? She's so beautiful.
Her dearest wish was for you to take the English crown, for you to unite England and Scotland. That wish may come true, Your Majesty, but only through her death.
Who is the greater sinner? A man who would kill his own mother? Or a man who would persuade a man to kill his own mother?
For consider this, with your mother dead, and with Elizabeth dead, 300 years of war would be over. For you would be the undisputed king of Scotland and England, of two countries united and at peace.
The crown of England.
Yes, Your Majesty.
And for that you may kill my mother. No Scotsman will take up arms against you. You find me ugly.
No, Your
You
Majesty.
find me ugly. But if you could only see inside here, Anne,
Yes, Your Majesty.
you would find me uglier still. You will never love me, Anne. I will never love you, but you will have my respect. You will let a man who repulses you have his way with you. You will allow it in order to share that man's wealth and power. That commands respect. But should you ever whisper sweet nothings in my ear, I will know they are lies, and you shall forfeit that respect. Is that clear?
Yes, Your Majesty.
and then I shall marry you.
Your Majesty, the English have executed your mother, have executed our queen. We head south. We will gain men and horses as we go, and will not stop till we reach London and avenge our queen.
No Scotsman is to take up arms.
They have cut off the head of our queen.
I will have my revenge. But I will act from a position of strength, not weakness. When Elizabeth dies, I will become King of England. I will be all-powerful. I will slay all of those involved in the death of my mother.
Elizabeth could live for 10 more years.
So be it. We Scots have always acted in the heat and been undone by the cool cunning of the English. I will wait.
You will wait. We will ride to England.
You're determined to ride?
Aye.
Nothing I say will deter you.
No.
Then wait until morning. My men and I will ride with you.
We ride tonight.
For God's sake, man! Will you not give me one day to come to terms with my grief? You have lost a queen. I have lost a queen and my mother. One day to mourn is all I ask.
Forgive me.
My good Lord Huntley. You will stay here tonight. In the morning, we will ride to England.
Your Majesty. Follow.
Kill him as he sleeps. And all who ride with him.
You wish to embark upon a course of evil to attain your heart's desire.
Begin by killing your mother. Children should come. This bestial act. How can they be loved? My mother once had everything. Complete control of Scotland. Your king wishes to eat. She lost it all because she fell in love. You will have my children. Male children. Heirs to my throne. When you have 3, perhaps 4, you will be free to take lovers. Until then, only I must visit you in your bed.
No. Not for all the riches of Scotland will I stay true to a marriage such as this.
Riches, not reaches.
Riches?
For the reaches of England and Scotland combined, however, how many children would you bear me?
Queen should not die old. I remember her in her prime, when she sank a Spanish fleet, claimed a vast continent, unfurled our flag throughout the world. You will remember these, her feeble years, the drooling at the mouth, the stench of urine. Queen should not die old. Between the death of Elizabeth and the coronation of James, England will be leaderless. That is no time to allow Catholics and traitors to roam free, plotting violence and insurrection. You will arrest each Catholic on your list. I myself will arrest the chief culprit, Robert Catesby.
A faith 1,600 years old. How dare they replace it with a faith that was born, invented to help a king dump a wife and marry a mistress.
If you ask a Catholic to choose between his king and a pope who sits in Rome, he will choose the pope who sits in Rome. Catholics are traitors.
My parents, my wife, and my child all died in this faith, safe in the knowledge that adhering to this faith, this one true Catholic faith, would carry their souls to heaven. And one day, please God, I will join them there.
Accipitet manducatex hoc omnes, hoc es enim corpus meum.
Amen. Amen.
You wish to speak, Robert Catesby? You wish to speak, Robert Catesby? The penalty for hearing a Catholic Mass is a substantial fine for all those in attendance, and the death by hanging, drawing, and quartering of the Catholic priest. And may God have mercy on his evil Catholic soul. Take Robert Catesby away.
Thomas! Robert! Leave him! Leave him!
Go to King James of Scotland. If he is to be the next King of England, all this must cease. All this must cease!
I speak from the heart.
Children,
Approach me and you will be slain.
Your Majesty?
You are Thomas Percy,
I am, Your Majesty.
and you have news from England.
Elizabeth, Queen of England, is dying, Your Majesty.
she has been dying since that child was conceived.
She will soon be dead, Your Majesty. Truly.
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 Well, that is sad news indeed.
Indeed.
Give this man 3 of our best horses.
I have further news, Your Majesty.
Speak it.
I fear this news will incur your wrath.
Speak it, man.
There is a rival claimant to the throne, Your Majesty. Princess Isabella. A Catholic.
I have no rival claimant. For I am no Clement. I am the next king of England. And no human being, no mere mortal will stand in my way, else I will show them what mere mortal means. I will put them to the sword. I will have his head.
He is a Catholic. Cut off his head. What message will that send to the Catholics of England?
To hell with them.
They will take up arms.
I will destroy them.
And what if you fail? And should you succeed, you would rule forever a divided kingdom. You have waded through blood to attain the crown of England. Now it is within your grasp. Do not let it slip for the lack of words. Mere words. Promise this man all he wants.
He will think me weak.
He will think you merciful. Tell him all he wishes to hear.
I will tell him all he wishes to hear. Leave us. Leave us! What do you want?
An end to the persecution of Catholics, Your Majesty.
Really? And in return?
All Catholics will hail you as their king.
I am a king, Thomas Percy.
A king does not succumb to threats. A person who threatens a king must die.
So be it.
A noble, heroic man.
That is for others to say, Your Majesty.
I see it.
Then, I thank you.
Have you no thought, Thomas Percy, for those less noble, less heroic? We of twisted limb, and cowardly heart, and evil soul, have we not endured enough? Must we look upon people such as thee and suffer even more in that comparison?
So what would you sacrifice for your faith?
I would give my life, Your Majesty.
To sacrifice one's life for one's faith is to go straight to hell. I see no courage in that. But your honor. Would you sacrifice your honor for your faith?
No. For to sacrifice my honor in this way
is to sin against my faith, Your Majesty.
Sacrifice your honor to me, and I will grant you all that you wish. Oh, I see that look of disgust in your eye. I know it well. I see it in the eyes of my good wife, my eldest child. It is a look no man can disguise. Honest and true. And I have grown so very, very fond of it. Why don't you strike me? Why don't you strike me? Is it because I am a king? To strike me is to die? Is it cowardice? Will you suffer this for your faith? For an end to the persecution of all who share your faith? If that is so, Thomas Percy, why stop at this? I have half a hog, when we can have the whole.
The Queen is dead. Long live the King! Long live King James VI of Scotland and the First of England!
To wanton country maid, nature disdained, her beauty is a release, and only
Out! Out!
Queen Elizabeth is dead.
We must ride to England.
No, we cannot ride before the funeral.
The throne of England must not lie empty.
We must wait. We wait for men to make us the finest carriage the world has ever seen. It'll be drawn by horses from Arabia. We will wear expensive gowns from France. For this one moment, I have endured pain and humiliation. And I warn you, my dear repulsive husband, we will enter London as a great king and queen, not as Scottish beggars.
You have Catholics in custody, Lord Cecil. Release them.
Is that wise, Your Majesty?
Do not the people love me? Is there a man in England who wishes me harm?
No, Your Majesty.
Therefore, release the Catholics. They will be persecuted no more.
To decide such a thing so early in your reign, Your Majesty, is rash.
Release them!
As Your Majesty wishes.
Said the king. He has promised us tolerance. Tom, it's good to see you. break his promise? Then I will kill him with my bare hands.
Not long now, my Just a little more.
We are impoverished.
Yes, Your Majesty.
I am a king who lacks the money to act as a king.
We fight a war with Spain, Your Majesty. And Elizabeth's funeral was also costly.
When you lavish money upon the old queen's funeral, did you not think about the new king's coronation?
She was much loved, Your Majesty.
Where Elizabeth had 100 horses to pull her coffin, I will have 200 to pull my carriage. Where she had thousands at her funeral, I will have tens of thousands at my coronation. The country will see me as the rising sun.
We will ask Parliament, Your Majesty.
Ask? I will not ask. I am the anointed King of England. I have a divine right to rule. I will not ask.
Only Parliament can grant you the money, Your Majesty. That is how things are... That is how things are done in England.
You know the price I've paid for this. Was it a boy or a girl?
A girl.
It could have been worse. Our coronation may not be as grand as we had hoped.
I saw her face. A taut, disnatured torment just like thee. And God showed mercy on a creature of such ugliness and snatched it away ere the world could see it.
Can Parliament be persuaded?
We will write a speech to move mountains.
You see ugliness, disfigurement, but I am every inch a king. A king of England and Scotland, two great countries that had been at war with each other since time began, are now united and at peace through me. Peace beckons also with Spain, a war that each of you has sanctioned, a war that drains the coffers of this country, is now, through the wisdom invested in me by Almighty God, soon to end. I have 3 children. 2 of them male. I have provided you with a line of future kings. Did the Baron Elizabeth. Already, I have done more for this country than Elizabeth did during her entire reign. Am I to suffer the coronation of a pauper? While she had the funeral of an empress?
Gentlemen, all those in favor of this submission, say aye. And all those against, say nay.
It was the phrase, the Baron Elizabeth. I did warn you, Your Majesty.
To hell with Parliament.
You can turn this to your advantage, Your Majesty.
Speak.
There is plague in London. A king who loves his people would not bring them together at a time of plague.
There is a plague in London, woman! A king who loves his people does not bring them together at a time of plague, not even for his own coronation!
children are enough. You may take lovers now, but men who will not. Lost. Men are discreet.
I thank you.
Soon the war with Spain will be over. Soon we will be rich.
And more men-at-arms are needed in Flanders.
More?
Yes, Your Majesty. Spain has scored a great victory.
Spain was suing for peace.
They wish to sue for peace from a position of strength. That is diplomacy, Your Majesty.
We cannot afford it.
No, Your Majesty.
What is this?
The figures in the right-hand column.
What are these?
You would be appalled.
Tell me.
Offended, disgusted.
Tell me.
They are fines paid by Catholics during the reign of Queen Elizabeth.
So much?
Yes. But you have stopped the pursuit of Catholics, and therefore, of course, you have stopped that particular source of income.
I have always acknowledged the Roman Catholic Church to be the true Mother Church. I am not her enemy. There are certain failings and corruptions I would wish to put right, but still, that does not make me her enemy.
Since I acceded to the throne, however, there has been a marked increase in the numbers attending Roman Catholic services. This has come about because priests and Jesuits have taken advantage of my clemency and have gone about the country openly saying Mass. This must stop.
Accordingly, I issue this proclamation of banishment on pain of death of all priests and Jesuits within this realm. I will enforce fines of £20 a month on all who persist in attending the Catholic Mass.
The children are sobbing.
That is indeed unusual.
Is not hanging enough for these priests. Must we also butcher them?
Henceforth, priests and Jesuits must merely be hanged. The butchery will cease.
If only that were possible.
Explain yourself.
Your Majesty, we deal with fanatics. They welcome death, martyrdom.
We deal with religious fanatics. They welcome death, martyrdom, for it is their gateway to heaven. When death itself will not deter, the process of death must do so. And it must be slow, so degrading, so agonizing that it and it alone will dissuade the would-be martyrs. The butchery will continue. You and the children may absent yourself.
I thank you for that, at least.
Have you chosen yet your lover?
No.
Then I'll come to your bed tonight. To see men executed is...
Inglés, señor.
Conozco a este hombre.
Folks, you fight for Spain.
I fight for the Catholic faith.
You admire Robert Catesby?
I admire all men of courage, men who have taken up the sword for their faith.
A man may fight in other ways.
You have fought.
Yes,
How?
but I've always spoken out.
You have spoken out, Tom. But what have you done? What have you actually done?
We must take up arms.
We'll be slaughtered.
So be it. Better to die than to live on one's knees.
Francis,
Ladies miss your company.
we'll be in soon, Margaret.
I will tell them.
Let me seek the help of Catholic Spain.
Spain has sent ship after ship. Not one Spaniard has landed on our coast.
I will not ask them for Spaniards. I will ask them for money.
If no money is forthcoming, return via Flanders. Return with Guy Fawkes.
Tomorrow I journey abroad. The king has resumed his persecution of Catholics.
And this necessitates your journey abroad.
It does.
What do they intend?
To take up arms.
And you? We must leave this place. We must avoid these people like the plague.
Your Majesty! He would have killed you.
He wished only to give me the flag of my dear country.
A man named Guy Fawkes has entered the country. He is an assassin. This might have been he.
She's here, Fawkes.
You are, sir?
This is...
I am John Johnson.
I trust this woman with my life.
Do not trust her with mine.
There are rooms beneath Parliament. Thomas Percy will lease one of these rooms. We will fill it with gunpowder. Fawkes will light the fuse and blow the king and his Parliament to hell when next they meet.
There are Catholics in Parliament. Scores of innocents.
In a just and holy war, the Church accepts that innocents may have to die.
You will engulf innocent people in a huge ball of fire.
They will be martyrs.
A man has a right to choose martyrdom,
not have it thrust upon him.
Then we will warn those who deserve to be warned. These are details.
Details?
Yes.
What then? The king is dead. Parliament is no more. Chaos reigns. What then?
We seize power.
We four?
When the time is ripe, you will recruit your brother Robert. He has men and horses. Other Catholics, too, have men and horses. We will raise an army. And with that army, we will restore order to chaos. Catholic order.
You think of the great suffering we will cause.
Yes.
History will discount it. In 100 years' time, people will look back and think not of the pain and death, only of our audacity.
Fawkes. The name Fawkes is known to Cecil and his men. Outside this room, you will call me John Johnson. From now until the act itself, we must all abstain from alcohol.
I will light the fuse.
Fawkes will light the fuse.
Whoever lights the fuse will be seen as central to the plot. That should not be a mere soldier.
Fawkes will light the fuse.
Do you not trust me, Robert?
I trust you, Thomas. I trust Fawkes even more. Will you abstain from alcohol?
No.
You are with men who would sacrifice their lives for the Catholic faith.
How dare you!
You will not even give up alcohol.
I have sacrificed more for the Catholic faith than you will ever know.
Thomas! Will you abstain?
Yes.
Women, too, can loosen the tongue. Beware of them. And beware of the informer. The informer will be close to you. Someone who claims to be an ardent Catholic, an enemy of the king. This person will mock your pious words and say, "What have you actually done?" Tell this person nothing. This person is an informer.
I am a Christian soldier at war with a corrupt Catholic church. A fat Catholic priest sold my father a week off his time in purgatory. Sold it for a guinea. For another guinea, he sold my mother a week off her time in purgatory. For 2 guineas, 3 weeks. For 4 guineas, 6 weeks. My parents spent all the money they had in this world on peace and happiness in the next. And the fat Catholic priest bought with that money fine food, fine wine, a fine house, and fine horses. To hell with fat Catholic priests.
Sanya Christi.
Behold the example of Christ. Christ who was born and lived in poverty, who drove the money changers from the temple, who fed the hungry, tended the sick, gave to the poor.
Sanya Christi.
The example of Christ shames them. They therefore promote the mother of Christ. They sell trinkets in her name. The mother of Christ who never bled as I bleed. The mother of Christ who never knew man as I have known man. The mother of Christ who makes all womankind ashamed of their sex. To hell with her. I'm a Christian soldier, and on behalf of my Puritan faith, on behalf of all my sex, on behalf of my dear sweet parents, and on behalf of Christ Almighty himself, I wage war on the corrupt Catholic Church. My Lord Cecil.
My lady.
This room is smaller than the others, I fear.
I'll take it.
The number of barrels required?
4 dozen.
People say to me, peace beckons. Why deal in gunpowder when peace beckons? Your reason for purchasing the gunpowder, sir?
To fight in Flanders for my king and country.
Your name, sir? I fear it's a requirement.
Thomas Percy.
Thomas Percy, Your Majesty.
My armored garment.
You know Thomas Percy, Your Majesty?
I trust I have done Your Majesty some service, and I trust Your Majesty will remember me.
You will have your reward. I will see to that.
Enough! Your Majesty.
Thomas Percy visited me in Scotland. He wished me to promise an end to the persecution of Catholics.
And did you, Your Majesty?
You must apprehend him.
You protect yourself and neglect your wife and children.
Bring my wife armor.
I will not wear armor.
Then why, madam, do you complain?
I complain on behalf of our children.
Your children complain well enough on their own. They never cease. You must apprehend him now.
As Your Majesty wishes.
He has gunpowder.
Enough for an army. A huge army. I could be shot at any moment. Apprehend him now.
As Your Majesty wishes.
Speak, man!
Let this plot widen. Then you will have not one traitor, but all who follow him. We will hang them all, confiscate their money and houses, bring untold wealth to your purse, and destroy forever the Catholic faith. Let it widen.
Widen.
The king is nervous.
Tom Winter is not a complete fool. I cannot ask him direct questions. And I do not do this for money.
But it helps.
Excuse me. It is good to see you again, Mr.
Johnson.
Johnson. Forgive me. She sings well, does she not?
Yes.
You should lie down. You've uttered 2 words. You must be exhausted.
I received the Blessed Sacrament and tasted the wine that had become the blood of Christ, and now I cannot stop. To keep my promise to abstain from alcohol, I must abstain forever from the Holy Sacrament. But you ask that of every Catholic man.
You seem less fond of Catesby today.
I do?
Why is that?
I've grown fond of someone else, perhaps.
Who? I cannot believe it is I.
Come.
Fawkes told me to be wary of women.
Fawkes is a fool. I wish to help you in your enterprise.
It is dangerous.
So be it. What would you have me do?
You cannot help us, Margaret. For I am sworn to secrecy.
Will you yourself face danger?
Perhaps.
Promise me you will not take on insuperable odds.
I promise you that. There will be many men alongside me.
Many.
Many.
I will pray for your enterprise. And I will pray for your safe return. Now we will speak no more of it.
Good powder. Tomorrow night we'll take it upriver. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Fawkes.
I'm not Fawkes. I'm Johnson.
Forgive me. He is not Fawkes, he is Johnson.
Yes.
He is not Fawkes, he is Johnson.
Tom, what's wrong?
He is not Fawkes, he is Johnson.
Oh, you frightened me.
Where have you been?
I've been walking.
Such weather?
Yes.
Wonder whisper sweet nothings in your ear.
I will bring the king to the Palace of Westminster. Assemble 4 armed men there. Whenever the king leaves the safety of the palace, he is to be totally surrounded by guards. Close up the house! It is she. We will move you to the Palace of Westminster, Your Majesty. You will be safe there.
You no longer have a spy in their camp.
We know who they are, Your Majesty. Fawkes, Catesby, Percy, Winter. They will be followed night and day. If their bowels move...
You will know it! Did you know they would murder your spy.
I beseech your majesty, show a fraction of the courage your mother showed when she placed her head upon the block. If you cannot muster that courage, she died in vain. You will be forever a pauper king.
You play me, Lord Cecil. I'm an instrument in your hands.
I serve you, your majesty.
Did Elizabeth face a threat such as this?
She did.
How did you protect her?
We had a double. A woman who seemed a mirror image. It was she who walked amongst the people. But in your case, your majesty, that would be
Impossible.
difficult.
Let the plot widen.
We will apprehend them now. I care not for my safety. I care less for yours. But I will not endanger the lives of my children.
Your children? It is cheaper to fight a war with Spain than it is to provide for the needs of you and your children, madam!
To bear those children, I had to suffer you in my bed. That was fearful enough. Must I now endure assassins at my gate?
Move! Let the plot widen. My family and I have moved into these premises for reasons of security. Your job must be to protect and guard every entrance and repel any attack. Any attack! You must repel any attack for as long as it takes. As long as it takes. The reinforcements arrive.
Repel Elliot.
This is a map of the Palace of Westminster.
For the King of Denmark loved his country. He loved the rich brown soil that fed the barley, the oats, and the rye, and the potatoes and beets that grew within it. Thick green grass that fattened the cattle, and the fruit trees, and the forests with the wind blowing through the pine trees, and the needles dropping and carpeting the ground, and gulls hanging and swooping above the sea, and below salmon and mackerel, oysters. Oh, Gud velsigne dig, kære far. How your grandfather loved Denmark.
For we intend to blow the king and his parliament to hell when next they meet. Damn you! If you do not wish to join us, I have no option but to join with you. The other option is to betray you, my own brother. That is no option at all. Do you think the king will understand when I say I knew of this plot and said nothing, for I did not wish to betray my brother? No, Tom. I am hanged when you are hanged. You come to me because I have horses and wealth. I have them still, despite years of persecution. I have labored and protected all that I own so that I might pass it on to my children. Now it is all in vain, for they will be branded traitors. My children will be penniless and destitute. You know nothing of this plot. We have never spoken. Look around, you fool. A man by the window followed you in. Others study us. The
king will know that I know of this plot. I was doomed as soon as you spoke. Thomas! What will this achieve? You do it for our faith, but our faith will be branded evil because of this. The king will seize his chance and persecute us. Follow me, sir.
No, sir.
Do you follow me?
No, I do not follow.
If you follow me, follow me close!
Tom!
Come within striking distance, good friend!
Enough!
Do not hide in shadow! Enough! But follow me close! Enough! Go, sir! I am your brother. I am with you to the bitter end.
Parliament must meet.
I accept that.
Does the king?
He does not.
If he does not announce a date for the opening of Parliament, then we will simply meet without his permission.
Informally?
Formally.
That will create a schism between king and parliament.
And so be it.
He will hang you.
Then he'll hang himself.
Threaten to meet informally. That will be threat enough. The king will announce a date.
And you will see to that?
Yes.
And I have your word?
You wish to see me, Piers?
Parliament wishes to meet, Your Majesty.
Does it now? If I refuse?
That would be provocative.
I am a king! I do not give a damn whom I provoke!
The 5th of November.
I thank you, Your Majesty.
Go.
Majesty.
You cannot serve two masters, Lord Cecil.
I serve you, Your Majesty.
Tell me about Denmark.
November the 5th.
I swear never to divulge that which I'm about to hear.
I swear never to divulge that which I'm about to hear.
I swear never to divulge that which I'm about to hear.
I swear never to divulge that which I'm about to hear.
Our day has come, gentlemen. Our new friends here have armed men and horses in the north. They will combine and move south upon word of the explosion. I will remain in London to announce the death of the king and urge the people to follow us.
Londoners will not side with Catholics.
I will say nothing of Catholicism. For 300 years, fellow Englishmen, we have fought Scotland for what? For a Scottish king to sit on our throne, surrounded by Scottish cronies. Join me now, and we will chase them all back to Scotland.
And when they discover that it was, after all, a Catholic plot...
Then it will not matter, for we will have absolute power.
My wife's brother will be in Parliament that day.
No one is to be warned.
There are many to be warned.
But if we succeed, my wife will lose her brother, and if we fail,
No one is to be innocent.
Catholics who themselves have suffered under this
No
king.
one is to be warned. If my own child were in Parliament, I would still say nothing.
There are good men who must be warned, and I will warn them.
You have taken a vow of silence.
I will break that vow rather than disobey my conscience.
Then we must kill you.
So be it. You will have to proceed without my money, my men, and my horses.
each offer one name to be saved.
One?
One! Lord Montagle will not be amongst them.
He's my wife's brother.
He cannot be trusted. He will go straight to the king.
Then you'll have to kill me and do without my money, my men, and my horses.
We will. Without your help, this plot is endangered. With Lord Montagle, this plot is doomed. Mr. Fawkes, when this meeting is ended, kill Francis Tresham.
I will.
A name. Robert.
The Earl of Arundel.
Warn him. Thomas.
None.
Tom.
None.
The Earl of Northumberland.
None.
You have the power to save a good man's life. The Earl of Northumberland.
The Earl of Northumberland.
Warn him. Digby.
None.
Fawkes. Francis.
None.
You accept that we cannot warn Lord Montagle?
Yes! What must I do?
My Lord Montagle!
Francis, my dear sister.
I have come to invite you to the Stratford Hunt, my lord.
Good man, when?
5th of November.
Damn you.
My lord.
I will be in Parliament.
William, people are talking about you.
What do they say?
May I be blunt?
Yes.
They say you attend Parliament only to win favour with the King.
I attend Parliament to protest against the persecution of Catholics.
I know, my lord.
Would they sooner I do nothing?
Yes, my lord. The King doesn't listen to Catholics, therefore Catholics ought to shun his Parliament.
That, too, is nonsense.
That's what people say.
Then to hell with them.
You're determined to attend?
I am.
My lord, if you attend Parliament, I fear you will suffer a great blow.
How?
I can't say.
Ward, mark the kill.
Yes, my lord.
How can I act upon it? Speak, man, or go.
Will you swear before Almighty God?
I will swear nothing. Tell me of this injury.
Promise me at least you won't go straight to the King.
I will swear nothing, and I will promise nothing.
There is gunpowder beneath Westminster. Parliament will be blown to hell when next it meets.
William! William, stop! Stop! Where are you going?
I must warn the King.
They will execute my husband!
I will tell the King I learned of this plot from your husband. He will spare him.
But what about Percy and Catesby and all who are involved in this plot? They will cut my husband's throat. You must tell the King that someone passed you a letter.
Who?
A stranger. I will write it.
Tend to the horses.
I advise you to find an excuse not to go to Westminster. My lord, though there be no appearance of any stir, I tell you they shall receive a terrible blow this Parliament.
Blow. Gunpowder.
Quick, Miss Ellis!
Who has leased this one?
Thomas Percy, my lord.
Wait. Open up.
This is how they killed my father.
We must hide away the soldiers. All must appear normal.
It's Ward, your brother's servant.
My lord.
He talks to Catesby.
You'll be telling him that your brother's been warned. I'm finished.
They approach.
Sweet Jesus. Sweet Jesus.
Will you walk with us, Francis?
Of course. Will you excuse us, Anne?
Of course.
Do you think we're fools? You asked to warn Lord Montagle, and hours later Montagle received a letter.
Do not think we will spare
We'll
your life, for we will
destroy our
not.
plan.
But before you die,
But it
you
has
must
come to naught,
speak the truth.
thanks to a fool such as this.
I did not write that letter! I swear on my life! I swear on the lives of my children! I swear by the blessed sacrament! For God's sake, Robert, no! Robert! He was a traitor. I have done God's work. I long to see my wife and children once more in the kingdom of heaven. Would I do anything to endanger that? I have done God's work. Sagna Christi. Sagna Christi. Sagna Christi.
We must not act in haste.
I agree.
We must exploit this letter to the full. A Catholic plot so vile it will destroy the Catholic faith. An attempt to blow up the king and his parliament.
Attempt? This is no mere attempt. This plot must succeed.
Succeed?
The keeper of the cellars must die.
Of course.
And Monteagle?
Monteagle will do whatever we want him to do. This plot must succeed, Your Majesty.
Yes. Yes.
An accident must befall this man. Away! Away!
No! No, 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 no!
You can hold your tongue.
I can, Your Majesty.
You will be rewarded for your loyalty.
This plot must succeed, Your Majesty.
My enemy will destroy my enemy. Catholics will destroy Parliament. A Parliament that has denied me everything I have ever asked for. A Parliament that makes me unable to act as a king. But no more. Parliament will be destroyed, and I will rule as God intended.
As Your Majesty wishes.
This attempt on Parliament is evil, yes?
Yes, Your Majesty.
It gives us license to wage war on Catholics, yes?
Yes, Your Majesty.
But if it succeeds, if people are blown to pieces, burnt alive, buried alive, how much more license will we have? We could lay waste half the world.
There is a gunpowder merchant in Temple Lane. An accident must befall him. Away! Away!
What?
As Your Majesty wishes.
We let my mother die, Lord Cecil. My mother. An anointed queen. The deaths of a few hundred, a few thousand mere men. Are they more significant than that?
As Your Majesty wishes.
His Majesty wishes you to speak!
I have reports of armed men in the Midlands. Armed men north of London, too. I hear rumors that Catholic exiles will land on our coast. The destruction of Parliament will be their signal to attack. How, Your Majesty, will we defend ourselves?
We will raise an army.
From where will we raise this army when all who could give you arms and men will be dead? This letter is vague. We will tell Parliament. No man could see the true meaning of this letter save our king. In the nick of time, only hours before Parliament was assembled, the king searched the cellars. The king found the gunpowder. The king saved the lives of you all. Parliament would be grateful, Your Majesty.
How grateful?
£300,000.
Tell them all as well. When next we meet, the king will be dead.
What is your name?
John Johnson.
I think not.
Some will call this plot daring, brave. I will say, his plan was to be elsewhere when the fuse was burning. Elsewhere when the powder exploded. For he did not wish to see the bloodshed, to smell the burning flesh, to hear the screams of the dying. Take this coward away.
I'll teach thee to spice. Fawkes is taken. What? We must flee.
He died for this. Mr. Fox.
What implement does he use?
Thumbscrew. I told him to take care not to crush his hand.
That is merciful.
He must be able to sign his confession.
Of course. Our birds have flown, Your Majesty. We pursue them. We will have them all.
Our birds have flown. That is extraordinary. But what I find even more extraordinary, 48 barrels of gunpowder beneath this Parliament, in a room leased out to Thomas Percy, a notorious enemy of the king, and yet you knew nothing.
It was the enormity of the undertaking. The complete disregard for human life. No mind could have anticipated such a thing.
No?
Even you, Your Majesty, with your great intellect. Even you did not envisage it.
I need you, Lord Cecil. But I do not love you. Remember that.
We must make haste.
To where?
We ride on London.
Is the king dead?
It was agreed that we ride on London.
Is the king dead?
Yes.
And Parliament is destroyed?
Yes.
Then why have bonfires burned throughout the land?
I know not why.
They're a sign of rejoicing, of deliverance from evil. Therefore, your plot has failed.
It may yet succeed. We have horses and arms and men. They are ill prepared. If you ride with us, we will win.
If we ride with you, we will die.
If you die, you go directly to heaven, for you do God's work.
I envy your faith.
I beg you. Ride.
No.
And damn you! Damn you all!
You find his pain distressing.
He would have destroyed my children. His cries are like music to my ears. Thomas Percy must not be taken alive. He will say that we promised the Catholics toleration, and that, of course, is a lie.
gunpowder is sodden. Useless.
Thomas.
I am Sir Richard Walsh, the High Sheriff of Worcestershire. In the name of the King, will you surrender yourself to me?
Stand by me, all you who will, and we shall die together. We did not seek power. We did not seek advantage. We did not even seek equality. We sought only toleration, and even that was denied us. We intend to die here, sword in hand, for God and the Catholic faith!
The upstanding for the King.
Have you chosen yet? Your lover?
I have not.
Then I will visit you in your bed tonight.
That prospect no longer repels me. Forgive me.
Be seated.
I have here the confession of Guido Fawkes, a Catholic who was found amidst 4 dozen barrels of gunpowder beneath this very spot. A confession signed of his own free will, which proves beyond doubt the guilt of those whom we have tried. Had this attempt succeeded, we would all be dead. This plot failed only through the great wisdom invested in me by Almighty God. Lord Monteagle, stand. Order! Order! Lord Monteagle received a vague letter. He brought it to me. And whilst all of those around me advised me to ignore it, I saw in it a warning of gunpowder. These plotters will be executed in the appropriate manner. To the scaffold they will be drawn, for they are not fit to walk the earth. They will be drawn backwards at the tail of a horse, for that will represent their backward nature. They will be drawn upside down. For God made the head of a man the supreme part of his body. Yet these traitors have abused God's work. They will be hanged by the neck between heaven and earth, for they are fit for neither. Robert Winter, Sir Everard Digby, John Grant, Tom Bates, Thomas Winter, Ambrose Rokewood,
And last, but not least, Guy Fawkes. They will have their private parts cut off, for they are not fit to have children. They will have their hearts cut out, for in there they conceived this treason. They will have their heads cut off, for in there they developed what their hearts conceived. Their bodies will be quartered, and they will be hung aloft to be devoured by the birds of the air. And their heads will be set upon pikes, and they will be left there as a reminder to all of our people of the consequences of gunpowder, treason, and plot. There have been allegations that I once promised Thomas Percy toleration of the Catholic faith, and that I broke my promise. That is a lie! I have never promised toleration, nor will I ever do so. For what this plot has shown is that Catholicism must never be tolerated. It is evil! And I tell you, it will be destroyed ruthlessly.
There is a motion before this Parliament to vote the King £300,000. All those in favour, say aye. Aye. And all those against, say nay. The ayes have it. God save the King.
If you could only see me now.